Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome Monday, December the 2nd. This is Monday Power Hour. We're taking your questions, your comments, your calls, reacting to everything that happened over the weekend. Week 14, rivalry weekend, officially in the books. What a weekend it was. And the regular season of college football is officially in the books. It's crazy to say. Time flies when you are having fun, but we have made it to SEC Championship Week. The Texas Longhorns and the Georgia Bulldogs will do battle Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Really excited for that one. But again, want to take your questions, your comments, your calls, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. We will open up the phone lines in just a second as we get ready for this weekend and the SEC title. And, of course, reacting to everything that took place over the weekend in rivalry weekend starting on Friday. Had some thrillers, had some flag plants. We had all kinds of stuff. Of course, yours truly, we were in College Station, Texas for the Lone Star Showdown. Had an absolute blast there hanging with the Aggies and the Longhorns. But again, guys, want to hear from you here on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Again, of course, as always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcasts, wherever you get those. You can also find us, of course, across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And want to say thank you yet again to our fine friends over at Prize Picks, who have been our leading partner all football season long. Of course, the partners of the SEC Unfiltered Tour that took us across the SEC each and every single week. 14 straight weeks we were on the road. More on that in a second. Of course, you guys already know we use these Mondays to kind of decompress, debrief everything that happened over the weekend, not just on the field, but in terms of the tour and our travels as well, kind of recapping everything. I see some of you in the comments certainly expecting a lot of celebration here on this Monday, whether it be from Gamecocks, it be from Longhorns, it be from Bulldogs, whoever it might be. I'm sure many folks in hiding today if your favorite team lost on rivalry weekend, which is to be expected. But certainly, again, guys, we have entered the month of December. A really fun one, a fun season. What a season it was, man. What a season it was. Again, more on that in a second. But again, really excited to hear from and chat with each and every single one of you. 803-500-1485. Once again, is that number where you can reach out. Guys, I'll go ahead and start with the weekend in College Station. Funny enough, this trip to College Station, and I think it's because it was rivalry weekend, obviously, and you know, we had just went to Austin, right? So a lot of my friends in Austin, a lot of my Longhorn friends were not very complimentary of College Station, as you could expect. Didn't have many nice things to say, but there were a lot of fan bases that were, you know, low-key chirping a little bit. Not even low-key, talking a lot of trash about College Station and Texas A&M and the quote-unquote cult and everything. And I'll just say this. I want to say thank you to the fine folks of College Station. I had a great time. I thought College Station was awesome. I thought it was just as quaint and as cool and as fun as many of the other college towns that we visited and experienced this season. The cool thing about Aggie Land was, I think for me, you know, there's the facilities, there's the stadium itself. We got to tour the facilities and go on the field Friday night, which was absolutely incredible. But just the sheer amount of tradition they have, the deep-rooted tradition, and how everything there means something. Like, there's no traditions there that are, like, fabricated or made up within the last 10, 20 years or were kind of forced. These are all, like, very deep-rooted things, right? So I thought that was really, really cool. I learned about the history of the 12th man, and you know, they have their yell leader stuff, and there's just all kinds of stuff that go into Texas A&M being an Aggie, the whole history of it, what have you. So that was really cool. The hospitality obviously was incredible. Many Aggies that treated me so well. And again, I had a blast, man. It was a lot of fun. Had a really good time. And again, I appreciate all the fine folks at Texas A&M for their love and their hospitality. A lot of folks shouted out, said what's up. A lot of Longhorns obviously said the same. There were many folks that that reached out to me while I was in College Station saying they appreciated the content and enjoyed everything. So College Station was a blast. Kyle Field is, I mean, it's a cathedral, guys. It's one of the best. It's I could argue it's the best stadium I saw the entire SEC Unfiltered Tour, just from a pure building standpoint. And it was very, very loud in pregame. It was very, very loud start of game. Unfortunately, obviously, because the way the game went, give credit to Texas's defense, they sucked the life out of that stadium. But, I mean, what a venue, man. An incredible venue. Had an incredible time and a lot of fun watching the first Lone Star Showdown in 13 years. Had game of the year vibes to it. Tailgating was electric. Everything, man, start to finish. It was a perfect weekend. It was a perfect weekend and a great way, obviously, to cap off the SEC Unfiltered Tour. So we'll get into a few of your comments. Obviously, somebody trying to call in. We'll go ahead and open up these phone lines. I don't want to hog up all of the airspace because, again, we will go until 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Central, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up here, guys, 803-500-1485. You want to text that number, call that number, whatever you like. We'll get you on the airways. We'll get you on the airwaves here, and we'll get after it. So, all right, here we go. We're going to go ahead and jump to the phone lines. Let's see. Let's see if he knows I'm on air.
Call from
Blake Ruffino.
My boy Blake, what's up? I was like, I wonder if he knows I'm on air, but then I realized you called into the actual phone line. What's up, man?
So I just want to call and tell the great people of the SEC that you are the man, the myth, the legend. You, my friend, went to all of these different stadiums. You embraced the people, and you're an outright champion. I could not take this day and not give you a call and tell you you are the man of the people. Chris Phillips, thank you for being a man of the people.
Blake, much love, brother. You know I love you, and it was a blast. And we'll be dropping SEC Unfiltered Tour superlatives here in the next probably few days at minimum within the next week. And LSU will be well represented, my friend. I'll just say that. So. Dude, I appreciate the love, though, man. Look, it was a hell of a journey, man. I really appreciate it.
From coming from someone who is in the same business, to see what you guys and what you have built, man, it's been nothing but short of spectacular. I suggest to everybody in the comments, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, hit that share button. Don't be a Rudy Poo. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. The best man in the SEC right here. Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. I just want to say congrats, man. It's been an awesome season. You're the best, and I love you, brother.
Like you the man, dude. Much love. Love you the same, man. Appreciate you.
We'll see you soon, buddy.
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon, Blake. Really good stuff, man. Blake is AYS Sports. Check him out. He also does Rufino and Joe Show, talks LSU locally, college football nationally. They do a great job, and Blake is somebody I'm grateful to call a friend, man. That means a lot. That really means a lot. I'm trying not to spend this entire Monday just talking about the tour and debriefing because I could definitely do it. I know you guys want to talk ball, and that's great, and certainly there's a lot of ball to talk, and I know a few of you just tried to call in. If you want to call back in, so we'll get to it. So we'll chop it up more about the tour. I mean, again, man, thank you, Blake. Much love, brother. Love you to death. And again, grateful to call Blake, not just a colleague, but a friend in this business. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
call from to accept, press.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So I just wanted to talk Gamecocks. It was a great win this weekend. Shane Beamer's really turned this thing around from last year. And while I know because of our head-to-head losses earlier in the season, we might not get into the college football playoff, even though I think that we're good enough to be in. How do you think that this season will build on South Carolina's program going forward? As you know, historically, they're one of the more under the radar SEC programs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge, man. I think you make a good point. I think whether South Carolina gets in the playoff or not, it shouldn't take away from what they accomplished. When you just look at the expectations coming in, at least from the outside, and the way that Shane Beamer and company were able to overachieve, the development of a Lenora Sellers. I mean, I think that's your biggest bright spot of the season is you've got a guy at the quarterback position that you truly can build around, you can sell moving forward to other prospects, when you're trying to bring in playmakers this offseason, either from recruiting or the portal. And dude, just think about the history of the program. And I think keeping that perspective, like this is only the 8th time in school history, the 8th or 9th time, I believe, in school history that South Carolina has won 9 or more games in a season. I mean, it's truly a special year in Columbia. Now, we can have the college football playoff debate until we're blue in the face. Do I think South Carolina is deserving of being one of the 12? I do think they're deserving. I do. Based off the way they played down the stretch, the way they're playing right now, I think they're deserving. Now, do I think they will get in is a different question. What do I think the committee's going to do is a different question. Because if the committee's got to decide between, listen, let's just cut the BS. If the committee's got to decide between a 9-3 Bama and a 9-3 South Carolina, and that 9-3 Bama beat South Carolina head-to-head, they're putting Alabama in. Just end of story. They are. I don't care what other factors. They're going to put Alabama in. That said, I think maybe both should be in. I mean, honestly. But either way, whatever the committee does, whatever the committee decides, so be it. It doesn't take away from how special of a season it was for South Carolina. Really, truly
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you. You can't really, obviously, at all ignore the head-to-head. They definitely put up a good fight against Bama. I think they're right up there with them, so I totally agree with you. But what I want, I don't want this to be our only chance in 10 years to make the college football playoff. I want this to be more of a we're in the conversation every year. I'm most concerned with, can we build off this year?
Yeah. And
can we really be a program to be reckoned with going forward with Beamer at the helm? So hopefully this year kind of sparks that for us.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely should. I mean, that's success isn't linear, right? I think you saw that last year, right? Success isn't linear. It takes time. It takes stacking classes on going out and winning in the portal and making the right evals. But, I mean, certainly, man, you got a chance no matter what happens to reach double-digit wins. If you can do that, and even if you don't, a 9-win season, go into next season, I think you'll be looking to build off that. I mean, I think for South Carolina, listen, I've talked about this before. Realistic goal, I think, for South Carolina football, and I think a place Shane Beamer could get it, being in that 8 to 9 win range every single year, and once every 2 to 3, maybe 3 to 4 years, realistically having a team that can go win 10-plus games and and obviously compete for a college football playoff now. And the playoff's only going to expand. We're going from 12 to 14, I think, in 2 years. So I think that's realistic. And, I mean, listen, maybe that year to make the playoff is next year. You never know.
Right.
I mean, so many things change. Everybody's roster's changing, schedules change, whatever. But certainly you have established this year, I think even more so than 2022, you've established proof of concept. 2022 was great, the way you closed out the year, but they were bad for 90. Like they were not good for 90% of the year. They just closed out with 2 miraculous wins. This year has felt much more like sustained. Like you had the bad performance against Ole Miss, so be it. But, even the Bama game, like you mentioned, was down to the wire. You could argue that. I mean, that game was right there for South Carolina to take. And then you win 6 in a row. I mean, there's no denying the kind of team you have this year. So,
yeah, I can't believe we won out. And the way Sellers plays, I've never seen anything like that. And, I don't see why. Like, I'm not going to be super upset, when they put Alabama in over us, if they do, which is the most likely scenario, like you said. But I don't see why, like you said, maybe next year's the year. You go out, you win a bowl game like the Citrus Bowl, and then you go into next season with that chip on your shoulder, like, hey, let's make it this year. And that's the story of next season for the team,
Yeah, I mean, you can use a year like this as a springboard for sure. So, and I think they will. Dude, I appreciate the call,
Absolutely.
Man. Thank you so much. Good stuff.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely,
Bye-bye.
man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, good stuff. Listen, I know South Carolina fans are fired up. I mean, listen, if you want to talk about it, there's what I think. Here's there's what I think, and there's what I think the committee's going to do. I don't think those two things are the same, okay? So when you look at the 3-loss SEC teams, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, of those 3, coming down the stretch, who's the hottest team in college football? Who's playing the best? Who could you argue is the most deserving because of what they've done the last 2 months of the season? South Carolina. Absolutely, there's no debate when it comes to most deserving. I think they are the most deserving of those 3. Why are they the most deserving? Well, Alabama and Ole Miss controlled their destinies and fumbled down the stretch. Alabama losing to Oklahoma in embarrassing fashion. Ole Miss losing to Florida, right? The issue you run into is head-to-head. Head-to-head has to matter. It has to. If it doesn't, you can come at Lane Kiffin all you want. Lane Kiffin was on one yesterday. But if head-to-head doesn't matter, what does it say about playing the games? The games have to mean something. They have to mean something. And so listen, even with me saying that, I think South Carolina deserves to get in. I really do. Like, I don't like automatic qualifiers. I don't like, there's a lot of things about the 12-team playoff I don't like right now, that many of us don't like right now. But with the way it's set up, with the automatic qualifiers, and there's different factors that determine the at-large teams. If it's coming down to a 9-3 Alabama and a 9-3 South Carolina, and we can compare resumes, and we can compare strength of schedules, and we can compare scoring margins, we can compare this, the bottom line is Alabama beat South Carolina head-to-head. That's what the committee, I think, is going to look at. I don't see a world in which the committee is going to take South Carolina and jump them over Alabama when the head-to-head exists. So I don't even think it's like that long of a conversation. I don't think it's a very thorough conversation. I just don't see it. And guys, listen, we can all admit this as well. If you don't think that Scarlet A, if you think that A doesn't matter, that brand doesn't matter when it comes to comparing the two, then you're living under a rock. Because it does. It does. It does. So here's the thing. There's a lot that still has to shake out. There's still a lot that has to shake out. But if you're asking me right now, I don't think South Carolina is in the college football playoff. I mean, guys, we saw it last week. Alabama and Ole Miss were ahead of South Carolina. Head-to-head was playing a major factor at that point. Alabama and Ole Miss both won their games. And I know it wasn't over a top 15 Clemson team, but they both won their games. So, and Alabama beat South Carolina head-to-head, and Ole Miss absolutely beat South Carolina head-to-head. So that's what you have to – I mean, that's what you're up against. I think South Carolina is a top 12 team in the country. I think they're a top 12 team in the country. I do. I will just be very, very surprised if the committee puts them in. So we'll see. I'm not trying to have an all-day debate about – I think the Gamecocks deserve to be in the top 12. I don't think they'll be in the top 12 when the final playoff rankings are released. Unless there's just some madness, chaos with a bunch of teams in front, and we see like Bama and South Carolina get in. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to have Georgia, you're going to have Texas, you're going to have Tennessee, and there's going to be a fourth. And I think that fourth is probably going to be Alabama. That being said, like I mentioned, I don't think it should take away from the season that South Carolina has had. And I would say this too, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It is. And head-to-head can't mean everything. But I mean, it's got to mean something. It's got to mean something. Anyways, guys, 803-500-1485. Phone lines have been ringing off the hook today. 803-500-1485. Taking a look at your questions, your comments. A lot of comments rolling in. We'll try to get to a few of these here. Patrick Martin, South Carolina needs Clemson to blow out SMU. That would probably help. SC base is the Mountain West champ and automatic qualifier. So it's just the highest ranked G5. So it's not necessarily the Mountain West champ. Like, that's not built in. But essentially, I think because of where the G5s are ranked, it is going to end up. It's probably going to be Boise State. But who knows? I mean, maybe there's an upset in that game too. So probably going to be Boise State. Roll Todd says, Bama just got trounced at Oklahoma by 3 scores. To hell with Bama and DeBoer. The nation wants the Cox. I understand what happened against Oklahoma. I do. Well, we'll see. I mean, listen, maybe I'm wrong, and they will not factor in head-to-head as much. I don't see that happening. Let's jump back to the phone lines here.
Call from
Derek.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, man. First of all, thank you for taking my call. I echo the sentiments of another guy that called you just to say how much of a wonderful job you've done. I actually missed you because it was all Gamecocks, but you're on a bigger platform. And congratulations to everything that you've done. I've got 2 things I want to say to you. The first thing is that I'm just happy that South Carolina is in the mouth of others about the type of football that we play. I've never been as happy as I am now. Yeah, Spurrier was good, but now we've got Fox Sports and all these other networks that are actually talking about Carolina football, which really makes me happy. So would I love to get into the CFP? Absolutely, yes, I would. But if we don't, hey, we've got something to build on. And the other thing that I learned is that it doesn't matter if you're a 3-star, 4-star, or a 5-star. If you can ball, you can ball. And we got Lenore Sellers for the next couple of years, and I'm just excited to see what can become of this. And the last thing I would say is this right here. I understand the G5 the G5 teams and all of that kind of stuff. But when you're thinking about putting a Boise State or a Tulane, whoever it is, I just don't think that's the strength of schedule has to play into this of telling who are the 12 best teams or in the entire country. Boise State only played 1 team, that's Oregon. Other than that, hell, we don't even know who else they played. Tulane has played, I think, Oklahoma, but that's it. But the strength of schedule has to mean something. I take off the phone line, hear what you got to say. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Hey, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. First things first, appreciate the kind words, man. The love and support, the outpouring of love and support from folks in regards to the work we did this season, the SEC Unfiltered Tour. I want you all to know that it means the absolute world. Really, truly. It means more than you know. I'll start with the last thing you said. I mean, I've made this point very clear, guys. I think the G5 needs its own playoff. I think the biggest problem, the biggest gripe I have right now with the college football playoff and the 12 team is these automatic qualifiers. I agree with you. I think strength of schedule should matter. I think we have this problem in college football where we want to pretend like everything is equal to everything else and that there's not some gap between the SEC and the Big 12. I mean, there absolutely is. There absolutely is. Like, I agree with that 100%. So, like, somebody in the comments saying we really think Boise deserves to be in over South Carolina. No, I don't think that. I don't think Boise deserves to be in over Ole Miss. Like, if we're just talking about, because there's a difference. Let me make this very clear. Let's make this very clear. There is a difference between this 12-team college football playoff with automatic qualifiers and this committee trying to divvy up at larges and making sure they get certain brands in the playoff. There's a difference in that and the 12 best teams in the country. There's a difference. There is. And you got a bunch of people right now trying to convince you that everything's all equal and you know, let's remove strength of schedule. It's all about your record and did you beat who you played? And it's just that doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't. People want to kid themselves that a G5 team is one of the 12 best teams in the country. It's a joke. They want to kid themselves that one of those Big 12 teams is one of the 12 best teams in the country. It's a joke. They want to kid themselves about, you know, a Clemson and SMU and an ACC title, that one of those is one of the 12 best teams in the country. It's a joke. It is. It's a joke. I'm not saying the whole field should be SEC. They want to kid themselves that a Notre Dame team that has played nobody and lost to Northern Illinois is one of the 12 best teams in the country. Maybe they're top 10, but they're top 5? Come on. It's a joke. So I've been on the bandwagon of strength of schedule should matter. I 100% think it should matter. Because, again, we're trying to pretend like everything is equal. I mean, I've stood on the mountaintop saying the G5, again, and I'm fighting for the G5 when I say this, not against the G5. I'm fighting for the G5. The G5 should have its own playoff. We're just kidding ourselves thinking the G5 could ever win the national championship. And I had some G5 folks push back last week about this, saying that, what about that Fiesta Bowl? What about, you know, this team upsetting this team? And it's like, my G5 team is Appalachian State, okay? Roll Nears, baby. Love App State. For those that don't know, I always have. Always had a soft spot for the Mountaineers. Grew up going there, vacationing about 45 minutes from Boone, would go to Boone. Always had a soft spot for App State. I watched App State win 3 straight national titles. What was it, 05, 06, 07? Armani Edwards, some legendary teams. When App State made the jump to the FBS, that was the death of Appalachian State football winning national titles. And that's a crying shame. So if your goal is to every now and then upset some big FBS school and say you did it, and you think you can do that in the playoff and you can hang your hat on that, then you know what? You can take that, run with it, you can hang the banner. But if you actually pull for a team that has won national titles and wants to win another one, well, a G5 playoff is the best possible thing for you. And if you're not playing to win a national title, then what are you really playing for? What is the point? That's the angle I come from when talking about G5 having their own playoff. You don't think G5, you wouldn't get more excited if your team actually had a chance to win a ring? You don't get a ring for pulling off an upset in a bowl game. You don't get a ring for pulling off some random one-off upset. Let's say Boise State goes to the playoff and they beat, I don't know, they beat Arizona State. That'll be cool, but they're probably going to lose in the second round, and the best thing they'll have from that was, hey, remember that time Boise State beat Arizona State in the playoff? Yeah, it was pretty cool. And that's it. That's all they'll get out of it. So, and there's a lot of G5 folks that got pissed at me for that take, and I'm like, I'm fighting for the G5, not against the G5, fighting for the G5. I don't know why, as a fan of a G5 school, you wouldn't want the playoff. I mean, I feel like it makes too much sense. But egos run wild. People have egos. We should be included. We have egos. So, anyways, we could spend the entire segment talking about the playoff and the way things are set up. And you know, I know the committee's got a hard job. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I you know, there's certainly we got to get rid of automatic qualifiers. That's the big thing. We got to get rid of automatic qualifiers. I think that's the biggest thing we got to get rid of. Guys, I see some of you trying to call in. Phone lines are now back open. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Again, phone lines are back open. Would love to hear from you, your questions, your comments. Let's jump back to the phone lines here.
Call from
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
What's going on, Chris? How you been, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you asking. Just been getting after it, man. What's up?
Man, I'm a diehard Gamecock fan, man. Calling you so most often, man. I'm gonna say this, right? Gamecocks had a hell of a year, bro. We beat people that they thought that we'd never beat. But I'm gonna say this: we got absolutely shitted against LSU. This shouldn't even be a discussion. We should be in the college football playoffs. There shouldn't even be a discussion. I'm angry and upset about that because the referees are not here to determine the outcome of a game. They are there to make sure that the game is played fairly. They absolutely stole that one. I'm a diehard Gamecock fan, love the Gamecocks, fuck Clemson. But that was a bad call against Clemson in that game. They replayed it and still got it wrong. My thing is this. They need to have something where they hold these referees accountable. They ask, on they ask, or whatever. There's no way, Chris, that you can have 8 referees on the field and have people behind the cameras that they go to review and they still get the damn play wrong. It don't make no sense, man. And, as a Gamecock fan, man, I love what Shane Beamer is doing. I love it. I love Lenore Sellers. I love the whole team. But it shouldn't even be a discussion for us to be in the college football playoff, man. And I thank you.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Love the passion. I will say this to his point. The referees officiating has been a big topic of conversation this year. I have not talked about it as much because I just like talking ball. I feel like the refs are so out of our control. To the point, though, the officiating has got to be reevaluated this offseason, right? I mean, I think Greg Sankey and company have got to take a moment, take some time to reevaluate what they are doing when it comes to officiating. There's too much on the line. There's too much money involved to not have more accountability when it comes to officiating. Because to the caller's point, they're reviewing stuff and still getting it wrong. And that is baffling, to review stuff and still get it wrong. I mean, there's got to be more accountability. The SEC has got to take it upon themselves to fix this. You've got to at least show people you're aware of the situation and you're doing what you can to fix said situation. Officiating is never going to be perfect. There is human error involved in officiating. It's never going to be perfect. But you can at least show the people of the SEC, you can at least show you are taking steps to improvement. At least show you know it's an issue and make it a priority. You can at least do that. The SEC has to do something. At minimum, there's got to be some accountability when it comes to the officiating. Now, with that being said, I will say this about the LSU game. I was at that game in person. There's a lot of people, seems like on social media, that forgot that I was there. I was at that game in person. I think the bigger take from that game is Lenora Sellers not playing the second half. I mean, I think that's the thing you can look at and say, does South Carolina beat LSU with Lenora Sellers in the second half? I think most of us say yes. I think most of us would agree yes. So does the committee factor that in? Guys, trying to predict what the committee will do, it's a bit of a fool's errand. Tomorrow night will be really, really interesting. I mean, all right, let me ask you all this. Do we not all agree? Do we agree? It doesn't matter who your team is. If you're not in the field tomorrow night, you're probably not getting in. From the standpoint of, let's say you're Ole Miss and you're sitting at 14. Outside of just insane chaos ahead of you, I mean, what can you really do? You don't have any control. You're not playing. So it'll take a lot of chaos in front. tomorrow night's going to be very interesting. And guys, by the way, we will go live after the selection show or the playoff ranking show tomorrow night. Break it all down like we've done every single Tuesday night or Tuesday or whenever when this has happened. Also, guys, Sunday we will go live and react to the selections, to the playoff. If you've tuned into these, you already know it's been a very fiery show, a lot of debate, a lot of banter. Sunday is going to be crazy because I think no matter what happens, there's going to be this feeling of somebody got screwed. There's just no doubt. There's going to be a feeling some fan base out there is going to feel like they got screwed. There's just no way around that. So, guys, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Want to hear from you. Comments rolling in. Let's see. Jason Corley. Rushing the field results in a fine, so shouldn't postseason brawls result in some sort of punishment? I think Ohio State should be suspended from postseason play. That seems a little aggressive, James. Or Jason, would you not agree? That's a little aggressive. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Logan.
Logan, what's going on, man? You're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call, Chris. I appreciate it. I'm a South Carolina fan and student, so I'll just start off by saying this was a fantastic season. Playoffs or no playoffs. I thought that this was really good to see.
Yeah, it was an incredible year. Now, to your point, whether you make the college football playoff or not, I think if you told anybody before the season South Carolina's going to go 9-3 and beat Clemson, do you sign up for it? I don't know anybody that would have said no. So, and you know, I'll say this too. I think the thing that made this season so impressive for South Carolina, I know the Ole Miss game obviously was a wide margin, but you know, yeah. I feel like it feels like every year there's like this baffling, just maddening result, whether it's South Carolina no showing or losing to somebody they're not supposed to. It seems like that result just always haunts Gamecocks football. You really didn't have that this year in my mind. Because even losing to Ole Miss, it was like, okay, yeah, Ole Miss is a really good football team. Lose at Bama, I mean, there's no, there's no shame in losing in Tuscaloosa. And then, I mean, the LSU game is frustrating, but it's not like LSU was just some terrible football team. So, like, I think it felt like you really you brought the floor up a lot this year in my mind. You didn't – the level of consistency in which you played with, I think, was really, really impressive. And then, obviously, the record and winning 6 straight down the stretch and beating your arch rival, huge part of it as well.
Yeah, you said you were at the LSU game?
I was at that game, yes. I was at that LSU game. South Carolina LSU.
Like on the sideline or like?
No, I was in the stands. I was in the stands. I was so every game I went to this year, we may have gotten like on the field pregame or something, but I was in the stands every game, man, which is exactly where I wanted to be. So I was in the trenches hanging out with the fans. We had a good time. So yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I was looking for you. I mean, I saw Josh Pate and got my picture of Josh Pate, so I just figured, heck, maybe Chris Phillips would be hanging around.
Yeah, but, I was not on the sideline, but we man, I got in town Friday. We went to Gamecock Park on Saturday morning, and I tailgated with some buddies in pregame and went to the game. And like I said, the full vlog is on social media, on YouTube, all that good stuff. So we had a good time, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Me and my dad went to the game, so it was a really, really good time.
Yeah. I just feel like this year is going to be the year of what could have been. I don't think we're getting in. I think Bama gets in over us.
Yeah, it's, there's going to be a lot of arguments made, and I'm sure you know as well as I do, social media will be a madhouse. No matter what happens, really, but, from the South Carolina perspective, it'll be a madhouse if they don't get in. But, I tend to think you're right. I think they're going to put Bama in. I really do. If I had to bet on it right now, I'd bet they put Alabama in. Just the Alabama brand, whether we want to admit it or not, it's a big TV show. Who's going to do better ratings? I know that shouldn't matter, and they're going to use head-to-head. They're going to lean on head-to-head.
They're going to use head-to-head.
Yeah, they're going to lean on that, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
Now, what I don't like about head-to-head is that, they've got to be consistent with it. Now, the AP poll came out. The AP poll doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's separate.
Right.
It's completely separate from the college football playoff poll.
Yeah.
But what I did see is that Ole Miss is ranked behind us,
Mhm.
even though they have the head on us, and Alabama is ranked ahead of us. So maybe strength of schedule has. I know Ole Miss is basically out of the picture. I mean, at least in my mind, I think Bama gets that last in spot if it comes down to anything. If it's coming down to one of those 3-loss SEC teams. But yeah, I saw that they had us ranked in the AP poll. And that AP poll, like I said, didn't mean anything, but I saw that they had Ole Miss ranked behind us, but Bama ranked ahead of us. I hope the playoff. My point is I hope the college football playoff poll is consistent with ranking head to head, with using head to head. If you're going to put Bama ahead of us, put Ole Miss ahead of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing that has frustrated the college football community is the inconsistencies with the rankings. So, yeah, and I mean, that's, to your point, South Carolina being ranked ahead of Ole Miss, that was what led Lane Kiffin to essentially blow a gasket yesterday. And, he had a day on social media. But, no, here's the thing, man. I'll say this. What's so difficult about it is I'm viewing it from all perspectives. Head-to-head has to matter. But also,
it does.
But also, teams evolve and change and get better, get worse, whatever. Like, there's no denying South Carolina is a significantly better team right now than they were in certainly week 1, but even weeks 2, 3, 4, et cetera. So, it's tricky because I don't think you can just sit there and say, well, if you get hot at the right time, if you can get hot down the stretch, you should be in. But at the same time, like, all I want, who are the 12 best teams in the country? That's why I hate the automatic qualifiers, because I think it should come down to who are the 12 best teams in the country, whether that's a BCS computer system deciding that, whether that's people on the committee that know football that can look and watch the film and determine the 12 best teams. And, of course, you got to take into account records and on-field results.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, why I said South Carolina, from that standpoint, they deserve to get in. They're one of the 12 best teams in the country right now. If it just came down to that, they would be in. And I would say they deserve to be in, and I will say they deserve to be in. I just don't think with the way it is set up currently, I don't think they're going to get put in. But we'll see. Again, we'll see. It's South Carolina did all they could. Kudos to them for doing it. Some really thrilling, hard-fought wins down the stretch. Mizzou at home, that game at Clemson. Really impressive.
I watched your preseason, 3 takes that you said you made 3, I guess what you called hot takes, and you said this would be the year we beat Missouri, and we beat them.
Yeah, that was one back in January, February. I appreciate you tuning in to that. Yeah, we did bold predictions for every team, and that was, at the time it was a really bold pick because people nationally thought South Carolina was going to win 4 or 5 games. Mizzou was talked about as college football playoff. But, I just felt like the streaks got in at some point. And, at home, never know. So, yeah, that was a hell of a win. But, dude, I appreciate the call, man. Really good stuff, and we'll see what the committee does. But great season, like you said, man. Great season either way.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Yeah, Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Calling anytime. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff, man. 803-500-1485. That is 803-500-1485. By the way, guys, we got breaking news. Breaking news while on the air was to be expected, but Brett McMurphy reporting. Arkansas coach Sam Pittman will return in 2025. Sources close to the program tell Action Network. There was speculation Pittman may retire, but Pittman, who's 29-31 with 3 bowl games, will return for a 6th season at Arkansas. He is scheduled to undergo hip replacement surgery on Tuesday. So, Sam Pittman is back in Fayetteville. Really curious how Hog fans are feeling about that. And I'm going to go on a limb and say I know how they're feeling, and they're not feeling great. I actually kind of feel I actually feel for my buddies that are Arkansas supporters, Arkansas fans. Just they feel like the program's in a rut, and it's just going to be more of the same, and probably another 6-6 or 7-5 incoming next year, and tough situation. Let's jump on lines here.
Chase,
what's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Trying my hardest, man. Trying my hardest. I want to give you the hottest take on how this playoff should all plan out. Because with everybody asking on how it should be, it's very simple to me. It sounds ridiculous, but I just don't think that any conference championship loser should get in. It basically expands it out to a 16-team playoff already, and then it keeps the importance of the actual conference championship game. Because right now I'm just hearing a whole bunch of arguments on why we are trying to keep in people who were just lost a game, no matter how great their season was. So I think that's the solution.
The only
but
issue,
if you plan it out, it makes more sense.
I was just going to say, the only issue you run into that, though, is that are you going to have teams almost actively trying to not get in the SEC championship?
Okay, and then I get you, but then you will run into situations where the committee, because it's still people putting people in there, right? If you just actively go out there and lay an egg on purpose, we have people to just not put you in. You know what I mean? Congratulations, you just we know you actively chose to lose this game. You're number 13 now. That loss bumps you down, 10 spots or whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I'm not saying like you're going to throw a game, but I'll just say this. I don't want to do anything that's going to compromise the integrity of the game. I think to your point, winning the SEC championship is still a really, really big deal. At the same time, though, like if Texas loses to Georgia, I still think Texas is deserving of being in the playoff. They are absolutely one of the 12 best teams in the country. There's no question. There's no question in my mind.
But if we make it a rule that no conference championship losers get in, now the SEC championship makes a whole lot more. Is more important. The Big Ten championship is more important, and it keeps those games that we want to keep important really important. And then it also doesn't automatically qualify that we have because we're with SMU Clemson debate. We're automatically saying that the three teams that just get a loss, not even talking about Alabama, lost to Oklahoma, three teams who just got a loss get in. If you eliminate those three teams, you keep the importance of those championship games, while also settles this debate of like who gets in, et cetera. And it's the regular bowl selection like college football has always had. Okay, now we get to have who gets in thing with the top 12. And if you want to lose the game just so you don't have to play in the conference championship game, okay, you could be number 13 really easily with, humans selecting it. But I think it's the solution.
I mean, I just you're gonna have a lot of pushback from coaches. I can tell you that.
I know
because they're gonna push back and say, why should we be punished for going to the title game essentially?
Because just like every elimination tournament, if you lose, you're not in. I'm sorry, you just lost a game.
Well, you know what'll happen though. I think if they continue to expand, if something like that, I'll tell you this. I think they would eliminate championship games before they implemented a rule like you're saying. I genuinely do.
Again, I see it more of them tying it into the tournament to make sure that they stay important.
Like a play-in
because they're not getting rid of the conference.
Yeah,
they're not going to get rid of the conference championship games. Because there's too much money in it. So. Right, we're going to expand to 16 like people said. This is the way that you expand to 16 and make the TV, it's still entertaining because why am I wanting to watch if Georgia would have lost to Georgia Tech, right? Why would I want to watch Georgia? We're just making sure we keep in the losers of conference championship games, and they just lost a game. Out of everybody, they are the people we know would just lost a game.
I hear where you're coming from. I would just say again, my biggest thing. I just want the 12 best teams in. Georgia and Texas are both they're two of the 12 best. There's just no question in my mind. I don't care what happens. I don't care who wins, who loses.
Yeah.
They're two of the best. So I don't know. It's as the playoff expands, it'll be interesting to see what new rules will be implemented. But
Mhm.
yeah, if that one comes to fruition, I will remember this conversation. I'll put it that way.
I got you. But just for fun's sakes, you've got some time. Run out a bracket to keep out all the conference championship losers, and it makes a lot of sense to me. But cool. Great show, man. Hope you keep up the great work.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I mean, listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Keeping out the conference title game losers, I can't agree with that. I can't. You can't listen. You can't punish a team for playing in the championship game. You just can't do it. It's not fair, man. There's a lot of things that aren't fair. I totally get it. Life's not fair. I understand. You can't do that. You just can't do that. So, anyways, guys, phone lines are or have been ringing off of the hook. We got about 8 minutes to go. I want to take a few minutes, man, to say thank you. Express gratitude. I already posted something on social media about this, obviously. But, my good friend Blake Ruffino called in, showed his love and support, and, gave his positive words of encouragement. And I love Blake, and there's so many out there of you guys that I love. And just taking a moment, I'll be honest. So College Station was great, right? College Station was incredible. Lone Star Showdown was awesome. As the seconds ticked off the clock and the clock hit 0, my mind immediately went to, this is it. It's over. The SEC Unfiltered Tour, this 2024 version, is over. And I sat in the stadium Saturday night longer than I normally do, watching everything empty out. And it was one of those things where, I didn't want to leave. I knew the end would obviously come. The end was around the corner. I knew it was the last one going into the weekend in College Station. But you're never really ready for something like that to end. I mean, 14 straight weeks, guys. The last Saturday that I wasn't at an SEC football game was August the 24th. So it's been one hell of a ride. 14 straight weeks on the road, 14 straight weekends on the road. The best way I can describe it is this. And I mentioned this to a buddy a few weeks back. I finally found the words to describe what this season meant. I was extremely present moment at every single turn. I was extremely present moment every single weekend. I forget the exact quote from The Office that how do you know you're in the good old days before they pass you by, or whatever the quote is exactly. It wasn't one of those scenarios for me. Like, I knew how special it was what we were doing on a week in, week out basis. I was not one of those where I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I'd have realized it in the moment. I wish I didn't take it for granted. I didn't. I was fulfilled with perspective and gratitude at every single turn. Like, I realized very actively how cool it was and how unique it was and how awesome it was, how great the content was. Like, I was very, very intentionally present moment. The last 14 weeks was also the most out-of-body experience I've ever had in my entire life. From the standpoint of every single weekend was a pinch me moment. Every single weekend, it was like I was waiting to wake up from a dream. Really, truly. Like, it felt like each and every single weekend I was living this fairy tale life. And at times I thought to myself, like, am I about to wake up? I've got to be about to wake up, because what's happening is just, I couldn't have scripted the last 14 weeks. I couldn't have scripted some of the things that took place. The way things just organically unfolded. It was the most special college football season of my lifetime. It was the most special 3-month period of my lifetime. And I just can't say thank you enough to the people that made it possible. I mean, it really, guys, was the people. When it comes down to it, The venues were great. The cities were awesome. But the SEC Unfiltered Tour, it was only as good as the people I was surrounded by on a weekly basis. And I'm very grateful and fortunate to say, man, I was surrounded by some of the best. I mean, some of the best. So many people that went out of their way to make sure we had a great time and that, you know, the SEC Unfiltered Tour was a success. So many people, every single stop that gave a helping hand and showed us a great time. So it was an experience just unlike anything I've ever experienced. And it was a life-changing season. I mean, really, truly, it was a life-changing season. I don't even know if, you know, I've tried my best to kind of think about it. I don't know if my team at SEC Unfiltered, I don't know if the audience certainly realizes the impact this season had, but it had I think this season, I can confidently say, this season had a lasting impact that we will feel for a very, very long time. I mean, it has really, we had made some great headway, some great progress as an entity and as a brand SEC Unfiltered had coming into the season. I mean, I can confidently sit here and say right now that the dust has settled on the regular season, I mean, this was just a season beyond my wildest dreams. Really, truly, man. And it's hard to put into words. Again, I'm grateful. People, you know, I'll say this. The last month or so of the tour, people ask me, man, aren't you tired yet? Like, aren't you tired? You got to be tired, man. You got to be exhausted. And I would always think, man, like when your life you're living is better than anything you could dream up, you don't really want to go to sleep. Like it was easy to stay awake. It was easy to be wide awake. It was easy to have those long nights on the road and have those flights and have those long drives and to do all the travel and to do all the games and to do all the festivities, the partying. Like it was really easy, man. It was really easy because these last 14 weeks, I lived a dream. Really, truly. I lived a dream. I mean, my life is a dream. So I can't say thank you enough. Without y'all's love and support, man, I'm really grateful for the folks who were along for the ride that showed us love. And you know, man, like what we did, the impact we made, the value that we created, that we gave to the audience, nobody will ever be able to take that away. Nobody will ever be able to take that away. We did it. We did this shit. We did it. 14 weeks, 14 games, 12 SEC stadiums, 2 neutral sites, 4 field rushes, and just countless memories made, man. Just unreal. So thank y'all so much for the love and support. By the way, on a side note, my guy Cole Thompson sends this over. Appalachian State is firing head coach Sean Clark. Good move for the Nears. Good move for the Nears. That's a positive move for App State football. That is a positive move for App State football. Really good stuff. Yeah. Again, guys, great place to close it. Again, I can't say thank y'all enough, man. Emotions have been running wild the last 24 hours or so, 48 hours really. And what a run. What a ride. For those that are wondering, by the way, I've gotten this question a lot. Let me go ahead and address this. I will not be, the reason I'm saying the SECU tour has come to an end, I will not be in Atlanta for the SEC championship. There are content things that I want to execute on selfishly. There are content things I want to execute on. Listen, the SEC championship is awesome. It's great. But again, after 14 weeks on the road, they're selfishly things I want to do content-wise covering this game as thoroughly and as in-depth as possible. You've seen our guys Cole Thompson, Dave Shoemate on the post-game reactions all season long. That's something I want to be a part of. That's something I want to be a part of. That's something I want to do. So we're going to go live post-game. We're also going to do other stuff pre-game. I'm going to be chopping it up in the studio, dropping content all day long. Going to be a lot of fun. And then Sunday we'll go live, react to the playoff, the bracket, all that good stuff. But I will not be in Atlanta. And with that being said, I am really, really excited to sit down, watch the game, chop up some content, and admittedly, guys, kick the feet up and watch some football. So after 14 weeks, it'll be good to do that. But, guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. The Monday Power Hour will be back next week. We're probably just going to continue to do these, man. I mean, I thought about that maybe once the season ends, maybe Monday Power Hour will go away. But I actually really enjoy it. I love this kind of content. Y'all know, man, I love the random open-ended. This is where some of the best content is birthed. I also love hearing from you all, taking your questions, your comments, everything else. Next week, you can expect we will do this from noon to 1, because after that, yours truly has got a date with the ski slopes. That's where you can find me all week next week. A little gift to myself for a successful football season. So anyways, guys, appreciate you all. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And again, make sure you check out our friends over at Prize Picks. College football, college basketball, NHL, NFL, NBA, whatever you can think of, prizepicks.com, promo code SECU to get that $50 bonus when you play your first $5 more lineup. And again, thank you for the fine folks at Prize Picks for supporting my vision, supporting my dream, making what we do possible, especially the SEC Unfiltered Tour. Stay tuned. 2025. Details on 2025 dropping soon. Our days of hitting the road, they're far from over. I can tell you that much. We're going to take a little break, but they're far from over. I can assure you. Guys, again, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you all on the other side.